him, and he said it's a little bit different because it's his home team. He grew up in El Cajon, went to high school there. He's surrounded by family and friends. He said it's a little bit different, but when you get down to the bottom line, it's like every other start, then it's business. You go to work. Dan Marino for Miami.
Everyone, as we said, has a theory about why Marino is not playing well, and we'll develop some of that later. But I got to tell you, if you want to pick a quarterback in the NFL to run your offense, he's one of the first choices I would still make. He is a great quarterback.
What is your theory on why he's not playing well?
We'll talk about that later. That takes a little minute to... Well, we have a second here, Charlie. Let's take it.
Sure.
People talk about Strock's absence, and I think that was taken personally by Marino. No question about it. They talk about the fact that David Shula is calling the plays that move down to the sideline. I think maybe that has a little impact. But the biggest difference, the offensive line has had big injury problems. He's missing Dwight Stevenson in there, and there's no question in my mind that you put a solid line in front of Dan Marino, and you begin to get big numbers on the scoreboard.
Juan Revez will be kicking off for the Miami Dolphins as San Diego won the toss, and they will be receiving. It is warm today. The temperature in the 80s. And this kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. And a flag is down on the kickoff return.
In an area of the field that usually means that field position is going to be even worse for the Chargers as they start this drive.
Bob Brudzinski was down making the tackle for the Miami Dolphins. And let's look at the offensive set. First for San Diego, it's Malone, Adams, Bernstein, Miller, Early, and Cox. And that offensive line of Dallaporte, Thompson, Rosado, McKnight, and Richard.
As we mentioned, McKnight, the only one of those starters that was here for that great matchup back in 1982.
So San Diego goes to work first down from their own 13-yard line. Early showing motion, Malone to throw. And he opens up hitting Lionel James. And so the Chargers mixing that offensive set as Lionel James draws the starting nod. And John Offerdahl makes the tackle, and we'll look at that defense of Miami with Turner. So Shea and Bosa. Bosa back from the injury, not playing last week against the Raiders. Graff, Brown, Offerdahl, and Green, linebackers really looking good on that defense. Thompson, Judson, who has solidified the secondary. Hobley, Jarvis Williams, the rookie, who is playing exceptionally well. Second down and 1 after a gain of 9. Play action fake, first down. Jamie Holland. And so the Chargers come out with trying an explosive offense.
They have great speed in 3 young wide receivers, and that's the fastest there, Holland. And you saw how much respect he drew from the defense as Renee Thompson backing way off and then slipped to boot to open up that room for the first down.
The ball at the 36-yard line. A gain of 14 yards on the play. Little Train will go to the 40. So he'll pick up 4, and it's going to be second down and 6 as Jarvis Williams makes the tackle.
Over on the right side of Miami's defense, Bosa 97, Green 55. Their job to stretch that play out. They did it well. No one from the inside there to make the tackle, and you've got to have inside-out pursuits. They were able to pick up about 3-4 yards on the play.
3 wide receivers. Second down and 6. Malone's pass is there, and it's Lionel James with a first down almost to the 50-yard line. Rick Graff brings him down.
Jerry Rome told me yesterday that they were trying to get the ball more often to Little Train James. He's had it 3 times more today than he did last week. Look at that shot right there. Mark Brown all over Malone, but Malone, in spite of the pressure, a very accurate pass, and San Diego off to a good offensive start here.
50-yard line, first down. Malone with the hot hand. Little train. 3 yards to the 47-yard line of Miami. It'll be second down and 7.
One of the problems the Chargers have is that they have installed an ace back, a single back system similar to what is run by the Washington Redskins. But they don't have that big, strong running back, and they're using right now Little Train James, who's a space back. I mean, he's the kind of guy that he's got to be the shortest offensive player in the NFL, the shortest offensive back in the NFL.
What do you mean by space back?
Well, getting out into the open, explosive.
A little spacey? No, not necessarily. No. Pass is complete to Jamie Holland. Holland to the 20. Holland to the 15-yard line. Malone is now 4 out of 4. 28 yards on that play. He has now thrown for 60 yards in the opening drive. Jarvis Williams with the tackle.
We talked about the difficulty that the San Diego Chargers have had on offense. Mark Malone said, I would like to be able to establish some confidence for this offensive unit. Well, so far he has been able to do just that, and you see the explosiveness of Holland, his second catch of the day. This is where San Diego has had the most trouble during the season, getting it in from inside the 20-yard line.
Curtis Adams is now the remaining back. Touchdown. Quinn Early with the touchdown over Renee Thompson. And San Diego has the early lead. Merlin?
Charlie, there was a question as to whether Renee Thompson would start today. He's had a shoulder injury, and he was iffy going in. And right away, the Chargers test him, and they have punched the ball into the end zone after a most impressive drive. And they're lighting up some eyes here, or lighting up eyes, I'm sure, for their fans back in San Diego. Question marks coming up on the Miami side of the field.
An opening 87-yard touchdown drive as Vince Abbott adds the point after. And the score is San Diego 7 and Miami nothing. Here is the opening touchdown drive for San Diego, 87 yards in 7 plays. Malone on the drive, Merlin, 5 of 5. For 80 yards, a touchdown to Quinn Early, and that is his second of the season.
That's a confidence builder without question, and Early with his little curlicue down the back of his neck. But I'll tell you, he sure left some dust as he went around Renee Thompson and pulled into the end zone with that touchdown.
That is the earliest touchdown score that Miami has given up all year. Abbott to kick off with Cribbs and Williams, the 2 deep backs. And Cribbs is going to bring it out. And he takes the gamble. He comes out to the 18-yard line.
Good protection on this play as you watch the, not much of a play-action fake, although it is a play-action pass. But the timing, beautiful, as Quinn Early is just running for the spot on the field, and that ball delivered to that point over the head of Renee Thompson.
For the Dolphins, Marino, Davenport, Stratford, Dupert, Clayton, and the tree at tight end. Farrell Edmonds, but Jim Jensen, Mr. Everything, there's the offensive line, is in the opening offensive set. And he'll play everywhere. Lorenzo Hampton to the 24-yard line. So Miami opens with 6. It'll be second down and 4 as Vincey Glenn makes the tackle. Defensively for San Diego, they're going to show a 4-3 most of the time with Phillips and Keys, Williams and Charles in that front 4 with Browner, Fawcett, and Billy Ray Smith, the linebackers. Bennett and Bird on the corners, Bayless and Glenn at the safety. Here's Davenport.
Big play by number 99, Lee Williams. And Miami offensively is going to have to find a way to block him today. He's got 5 sacks on the season. He has been an impressive force. And if you don't keep him away from Marino, he's going to cause some trouble.
Loss of 4 back to the 20, so it's going to be third down and 8. And Leslie O'Neal, number 91, makes his first appearance in 22.5 months coming off of that knee injury. Marino from the shotgun. Jensen is back to block. Going for the interception was Glenn. Merlin.
You hear the boos from this crowd, and Marino and his offense off to a very slow start. They have had a slow start on the season, and today, no exception. A chance to watch Marino. There is time for Marino to throw here. Not the kind of pass that we have come to expect from Dan, but his receivers were not open either. Where are you going to put that football?
Close coverage by Sam Steele. Roby to kick. Lionel James. Short kick takes on the run of the 45, and San Diego leading in the ball game by a score of 7-0 with excellent field position. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. A 35-yard kick for Roby. 8 yards on the return. The defensive resurgence of Miami.
Well, they've given up a touchdown today, but coming into this game, they'd average 11 points, giving up 11 points the last 5 games, only 1 TD over 14 quarters. And look at this, 16 sacks in 6 games. They had 21 in all of 87, 10 interceptions in 6 games, and you have to realize that 8 of those interceptions in the last 2 weeks. Well, they have played well. They have got to play better than they played in that first drive to get themselves going in this ball game.
At the Miami 47-yard line, first down for San Diego. Chargers lead it 7-0. Curtis Adams. 3 yards to the 44. It'll be second down and 7.
Brian Sauché, right in the middle of your screen, one of the outstanding nosemen. Watch, the center is going to try and influence him away from the play. But as he does that, Sauché just pushes him, gets back inside, gets off the block by Tim Spencer, 43, and that's an outstanding play by the nose tackle.
Tim Spencer is now flanked to the left side, second down and 7. Curtis Adams. A couple of yards to the 42. It'll be third down and 5. And Malone, who is 5 out of 5 in that opening drive for 80 yards, will be throwing again here.
A chance to look in again at Brian Sauché working in the middle. And again, they're trying to influence him away from that play. He bounces back and is going to get a piece of that tackle. He's there along with Offerdahl, one of the other linebackers. But Sauché, one of the quickest nose tackles in the NFL. Very, very fast upfield.
3 wide receivers. And James. Malone's in trouble. And it is incomplete. Coming back to help along the far side was Jamie Holland. And now the defense of Miami, led by Rick Graff, who was putting the pressure on Malone, showing their tenacity.
Mark Malone said that one of the things that Jerry Rome has worked most with him on is after the play breaks down, what to do in the scramble. Here, the smart play, just get rid of that football, but with a chance for a completion. That was a nice play on the outside, but there was the possibility of completion there.
Rojinko kicking, low snap, takes it on the hop. Williams and Schwades are both deep. And it'll go into the end zone for the touchback. So we'll bring it out to the 20-yard line with 7:40 left to go. We're in the first quarter and San Diego lead. A check of the early games. New England upsetting Cincinnati. Houston defeats Pittsburgh. Chicago over Dallas. So Cincinnati now 6-1. Houston's record is 5-2, and they meet next week. We'll have the other scores in a minute. Marino comes out throwing from the 20. This one is complete to Mike Duper, who did not catch a pass last week. He is finally wrestled out at the 38-yard line. A gain of 18 and the first down, as Roy Bennett is the man who stopped him.
One of the difficulties that Marino has had is that Duper, who held out, was late coming in, has been slow rounding into shape. They say that he's back to speed now. He's lost a little excess weight that he came in with, and that's good news for Marino. You can see what kind of respect they have to give Duper with his speed on that particular play.
Davenport and Stratford are the running backs. And Marino throwing again. Out of the backfield, it is Stratford. A couple of good moves. Out to the 46, maybe the 47-yard line. A gain of 8, second down and 2 as Billy Ray Smith makes the tackle. Cleveland over Philadelphia, 19-3. Washington over Phoenix. It kind of stops Phoenix just for a moment. They've really been a hot ball club, and here are the other scores as we quickly go down the line. And games that started along with ours, San Francisco and the Rams, no score. Seattle by 3 over New Orleans, no score. Atlanta and Denver. Here it is San Diego 7 and Miami nothing. The quick out to Duper. And they're going to say he goes all the way to the 43-yard line of San Diego. And he'll pick up the first down en route. And Roy Bennett was there for the defense.
Bennett starting in place of Elvis Patterson, who is injured. And you look at what has happened this year to Duper and Clayton. Their career averages on the left, look how much less they're averaging per catch during this year. Certainly one of the reasons is because teams are forcing Marino short. They're laying on those deep patterns and keeping him from going deep.
First down to the San Diego 43. Play action. Marino goes deep, has a man, hits him. Out of bounds. Mark Clayton. So he's had Duper on the right side now, Clayton on the left. A gain of 22 yards, and that's the number of the man covering him, Gilbert.
The Marx brothers have entertained us so often. Little stop-and-go pattern. In fact, double stop-and-go. And Marino gunning that ball. Always the quick arm. Watch him here. Timing it perfectly. That ball in the air before the final break. And if Clayton did not step out on that play, the tackle was missed. Had a chance to streak down that sideline, perhaps into the end zone.
Marino now 4 of 5 for 60 yards. We may see those 79 points if they keep going like this.
We might have been a little swift, Charlie.
End zone. One-hand grab incomplete. Clayton could not pull it back in. Roy Bennett had the coverage.
Virtually the same play that San Diego scored on just moments ago. Time to go over the head of the defensive back. Bennett was there, but Clayton had one hand on the ball, just could not get the second hand there.
When we were talking with Don Shula yesterday, he got a little testy when we asked him about the offense. Didn't have that explosive feel. And he immediately started a defense of that, which almost took me out of the room. Now they have that explosive feel.
Well,
they haven't had that all year.
They're certainly popping here. They've had flashes all year. What Shula wants is consistency. Leslie O'Neal in the ball game again for the Chargers.
And 6 in the secondary. As they come to the right side. Stratford, the ball carrier. Williams and Bennett on the stop. 18-yard line.
Stratford has not had as good a year in '88 as he had in '87. And I mentioned that Marino has not had as many tools to work with here in the early going. And I'm talking not only about receivers, but also performance from halfbacks and fullbacks as well.
From the shotgun, Jim Jensen is the remaining back. Third down and 7. 18-yard line. Jensen stays in the block, and it is caught at the 10-yard line and down at the 9. That is Fred Banks. Only his 4th reception of the year.
A few weeks ago, James Pruitt was benched in favor of Banks. He goes into the slot, and with the great respect that you have to show the two outside receivers, he's singled up man-to-man. And it's Roy Bennett again. Bennett having a busy day, and that's the plan here in Miami. Obviously, he's the new face in the secondary. Test him, and test him well.
He needed 7, and Marino picked up 9. First down, goal to go, 9-yard line. Hampton to the 6. Gain of 3, second down, goal to go. Fawcett with the stop.
I said that Stratford has not had as great a year as he had last year. Lorenzo Hampton has been playing very well, and Shula will alternate those two halfbacks in this game today.
Second and goal.
The Miami coach, that's Al Saunders. Head coach of, he's no longer the youngest head coach in the National Football League. He's the second youngest.
Still the only foreign-born coach.
Marino checking off at the 6 for its second down, goal to go. Knockdown.
Mike Charles, number 71. This is kind of a homecoming for him. Played here with the Chargers for a number of years. You hear a few rumbles from the crowd here. He said, it's important for me. He said, I never got a chance to play in this stadium with the Dolphins. This is my first chance here. I want to do as well as I possibly can. Has his weight down a little bit. When he left here, he was 304. He's down to a svelte 295 now, Charles. Svelte 295.
Third down goal to go. 6-yard line. 6 in the secondary. Jensen, the remaining back. Touchdown. Mark Duper. Duper's first touchdown of the year.
That's exactly what Don Shula wants to see. Not only the good drive, but completion with a touchdown.
80-yard drive in 10 plays. Does memory serve me correct? We have not had a flag since the opening kickoff.
I think you're right, Charles.
Woo. The extra point. Rouvet splits the upright. We are tied 7-7. Marino on the drive, 6 of 8, 76 yards. This is Charlie Jones in Merlo. Did you watch game 1 last night?
Charlie, I was, it looked like it was just going to be true to form that the Oakland A's with that great power were just going to blow them down, and then it was fairyland. I mean, this is Hollywood. What do you mean? I mean, we wrote the script out there. Gibson off the sick bed, in for the home run.
Hollywood Ben Scully said, how do you like our opening act?
Oh, boy.
Jamie Holland on the return, out to the 10, has a blocker in front, makes his cut at the 15, to the 20, 30, 40, down the sideline, finally bumped out of bounds. Rouvet's made a pass at him, but he's not the one that got him. Rodney Thompson is the one who took him out of bounds. 58 yards on the return.
We've been seeing some great returns from Anthony Miller. Now it's Jamie Holland's turn to show you his speed. He's already done it as a receiver today, but he can pick them up and put them down. He's one of those 4-3 something flyers, and I'll tell you, he'll scare you if you're on the defensive side of the field.
San Diego opens at the Miami 47-yard line. Adams is the remaining back. Spencer is a flanker. He's there to block, and he comes in motion. The reverse. Anthony Miller, just a step away. Both offenses have a great magical feel about them today. Let's check the scores. San Francisco leading the Rams 7-0 first quarter. Seattle still holds that 3-0 lead over New Orleans, and Atlanta, Denver still scoreless. That's in the first quarter. The score here is 7-7 with 2:53 left to go in the first period. San Diego and Miami.
Only 64. We're going to get to 79 today, Charlie. We're talking about the 79 points scored in that great matchup back in the 82 playoffs, by the way.
2nd and 6. It is dropped. Quinn Early, intended receiver at the 40-yard line. A reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player for today's game at the conclusion of the game as we take another look.
We talked about the problems that Miami has had offensively. San Diego putting in a new offensive system, have had all kinds of injuries in the offensive line, have been shifting quarterbacks in and out. Malone has gone in 3 times as a replacement. There he is today. And that vote of confidence, well, he's done better than that.
He has. I think maybe underestimated. 3rd down and 6. And he's on target here. This is to Lionel James, and it'll be short of the first down, 40-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 3. As Renee Thompson makes the hit for Miami, and that means, of course, that Ralph Mojinko will come in to kick. With Jarvis Williams and Scott Schwady dropping back on the return. This one he just wants to drop inside the 20. Fair catch is called for and taken at the 12-yard line by Scott Schwades, and that's exactly what he wanted to do.
Sure did, Charlie. Two outstanding kickers. And Moshenko on the left-hand side with a 49.2 average leads the league. Watch his plant foot now, coming well off the ground, great extension. Now watch Roby, a different style, stays flat-footed, again, high follow-through, a power kicker. These are two of the finest punters in the NFL.
Miami first down at their own 13-yard line. And Marino comes out throwing again. And he goes deep, has one-on-one coverage, and he overthrows his intended receiver. And the hit was after the ball was over the head of Mark Clayton. Roy Bennett was the man with the coverage, and that's a battle that's been going on.
Clayton upset. The reason he's upset is that he sees the ball out there, and Bennett grabbed him anyway. Clayton jumps up and said, "Hey, what the heck you doing, man? That ball is over my head. Leave me alone." Al Saunders talking to Little Train James on the sideline.
Second down and 10, back at the 13. And the penalty is going to go against San Diego. So it's going to be first down and 5 at the 18-yard line. Davenport is the remaining back. And Marino drops it to Davenport right over the middle. 25-yard line. That'll be a first down. Vincey Glenn.
Woody Bennett has had some back problems, and as a result, Davenport getting the call today in the backfield has not had a great deal of use and made a mistake there, I think, Charlie. I think there's sometimes you just put your head down to get an extra yard. You can't always look for that home run or that big play. Sometimes you just got to take what's there and accept it.
We're moving on the 1-minute mark, time remaining in the first quarter.
Very quick first quarter.
Yes, and explosive, though, and exciting. Fun
a lot of completions. A lot of completions here.
Fake of the draw. Ooh. Complete on the far side to Duper. Gil Bird stopped him at the 40-yard line. A gain of 15, first down, and we will look at Duper.
One of the things that Dan Marino said yesterday was, hey, we've still got the same folks here that put all those big numbers on the board. Well, one of those folks right there, number 85. I talked about him having problems coming back after holding out, missing training camp. It takes quite a while to get in football shape. Duper is finally there, and he's making big plays as a result.
And Marino didn't seem to be all that concerned about the offense.
Marino said, we're going to get it going. And it looks, if they can sustain this, as if he's right.
Has good protection, goes deep far side, has a man, and he's overthrown by about 5 yards. And this time Duper, when he looked back, did he just realize he couldn't get to it? Because he slowed down. I was surprised.
The timing was obviously off on that play, and that's one that's again released before the final break.
Also, you watch the shadows. I'm wondering if when he looked back, if he catches a glimpse of the sun. When you do that, it takes your eye off the ball, because he did slow up.
He may not have been able to see that ball.
He looked right back at the sun. Yeah, could have been.
This late afternoon, and of course, this team has not played that many 4 o'clock games in this stadium. They're still getting used to the sun patterns and the shadow patterns here.
Jensen comes in motion. Stratford, the ball carrier. And Carl Wilson, now in on defense, makes the tackle at the 43. Gain of 4. Third down and 6.
Jim Jensen, crash. He does a piece of everything in there. Blocker on this play, but you're liable to see him just about anywhere.
That's the end of the first quarter. We are tied at 7-7. We'll be back in just a moment. Back to the ballgame. Merlin, you mentioned that it's a 4 o'clock ballgame here. In reality, that's an advantage for San Diego. Traveling to the east, 1 o'clock Pacific Coast time, and that's the time they normally play.
Biological clock set properly for this game, and I always felt that that 3-hour time difference hurt a West Coast team. But speaking of biological clocks, Charlie, I know you just got back from Seoul. Where's your body now? Somewhere between Seoul, Korea, and San Diego, California?
I think it's about 20 minutes to 7 in the morning, and I'm late for the 7:15 bus.
Okay.
And that's tomorrow morning, which is also confusing. 3rd down and 6. We open the second quarter. Ball game tied 7-7. Dropping out of the backfield is Jitson for the first down. Converting on 3rd and 6. He has now converted 9 of 10 third down opportunities when the ball has come to him. 19 yards.
Crash Jensen. I can't find him there. Where is Crash? Is that him? On this side, let's turn him loose. He's on the right-hand side of your picture. He'd gone out as a wide receiver on that play, just circling back in. But you see how effective he is. Charlie, you never know where he's going to come from.
That's one of the problems. You're always looking for him, and you never know where he is.
Dan Marino knew where he was.
Yeah. Stratford is cut down by Tyrone Keys, and here's a look at the statistics in the first half.
Big yards passing for both teams, not so many yards rushing, and certainly fairly even time of possession. That's good news for the Chargers, who have been edged out in that department severely all year.
Understatement on the rushing yards. 16 for San Diego and 10 for the Dolphins.
Well, I think that's because the passing game has been so effective for both sides.
They both came out throwing, and
they both want to throw the football.
2nd down and 12. San Diego with 5 in the secondary. We're tied at 7-7. 13 and a half minutes left to go first half. Now Marino is repositioning his offense. He took a lot of time. He almost ran out of time.
Yeah, he did.
30-yard line, short of the first down, just inside the 30. A gain of 11, but he needed 12. It was 3. Farrell Edmonds, 6'6", 248. Perfect nickname.
Farrell Edmonds is going to come across the middle of your field here. Let's turn it loose and watch him coming from the left-hand side of your screen. Get a chance to watch Edmonds right there. And boy, I tell you, if they can ever help this young man to use his talent, 6'7", runs about a 4.5 40. Great speed.
3rd down, about 1.5 yards for the first down, and Lorenzo Hampton dives over the top. He'll pick it up at the 27-yard line.
Little vote of confidence for the offense there as Don Shula says, hey, we're not messing around. We're going to go for it. Good blocking up front, and Hampton over the top picks up the first down.
As you move through the 10-minute ticker, when these are the games going on with San Francisco and the Rams now tied, Seattle still leading New Orleans by 3, Atlanta, Denver still scoreless. Going back to one of the early games, Cleveland defeated Philadelphia 19-3, and Don Strock threw 2 touchdown passes.
Stroke. If he had come into camp, he might still be here, and Jaworski, who was in Philadelphia, might not.
On the reverse,
Mike Charles,
the three got planted that time. I don't know. Do you do a reverse to a man who's 6'6" at 248? He's going to lose 8 yards for it.
No, you don't do it there. This is one of those trick plays that was a little too tricky. But watch 71, right-hand side of your screen, and 57, David Brandon. They were not fooled. Both of them waiting for Farrell Edmonds, who will not get a chance to use his speed on that play. 5 San Diego blue jerseys right there to have a part of that play.
And it's 2nd down and 18 at the 35-yard line.
There's a little bit of show me. I'm going to show them that they did the wrong thing by shipping me out of here at Mike Charles today. I'll tell you that.
Marino rolls right, and he throws, and it is complete. Fred Banks. 17 yards. It'll be 3rd down and about 1.
Freddie Banks. Watch Marino. Gets a little pressure up the middle, just a little roll to the outside. And that's such a perfect pass. I tell you, I don't think there's a quarterback in the league today with better eyes than Marino. The fact that he sees so much of the field, that he sees the opening coming for a receiver like that.
And notice that he's moving around a lot more than he has this year. Before he would come back and kind of jitterbug in the pocket. Now he's rolling out. He's moving. He's creating things. So they've changed the offense a bit. Going for the first down is Lorenzo Hampton. He needed a yard.
We mentioned Jim Jensen and all the positions. He's going to block on this play. Comes in inside a little trap, almost like an H-back play. That's Billy Ray Smith back in the lineup after being injured. A calf injury. That calf, by the way, atrophied slightly. Still not as strong as his other calf. He's going to have some trouble. But Jim Jensen made sure he had a lot of trouble on that play. Gave him a helmet in the side.
And Marino has been causing trouble. 11 of 15, 143 yards and a touchdown. Started his drive back at the 13-yard line, and he started in the other quarter. Duper at the 12, a gain of 5, second down and 5. Gilbert with the stop.
Miami Herald ran a big article earlier this week talking about the fact that Marino was throwing the ball too fast. They said, we think that that's his problem. As I said, everybody has a theory down here. But I have to tell you that one of the things that's made Dan Marino such an incredibly fine quarterback is his ability to unload that football and to do so very quickly. And I think there were times, certainly, as Shula pointed out, that he has had to throw it because he did not have the protection. But this line certainly appears to be giving him better protection today, and Marino taking as much time as he needs, but that's not a lot.
Second and 5. Jensen. Close to the 7-yard line. And a flag is down at the 9.
Mark Tupper shaking his head, saying, hey, that wasn't me. Must have been somebody else. Pointing to the defensive side.
Right? San Diego offsides.
Perhaps someone lined up offsides, Charlie.
I'll take the penalty here.
Kenley will get them very close to the first down, but I don't know that it would be a first down. That might be an advantage to have second and short. That gives you a free shot at the end zone if you want it.
Number 93 lined up in the zone. First down.
Tyrone Key. So the penalty is enough. The yardage was not, and it's almost to the 6-yard line. And it's going to be first down and goal to go.
Talking to Marino yesterday, he said that one of the things that he really wanted to work on personally was to see that their team could be more effective down inside that 20-yard line. First opportunity today, they punched it in for a touchdown. This is their second time in that red zone inside the 20 today.
Clayton is wide to the right. Duper is wide left. Clayton can't get to it. That was a perfect example of a timing pattern, and Marino ran out of time.
And again, they're working on Roy Bennett. We mentioned the theory, and it holds for most teams. You put a new face in that secondary. Elvis Patterson out of the lineup, Bennett in his place, and they have gone after him repeatedly today.
See all that wrapping on Clayton?
Sweatbands, a lot of it, Charlie.
He has a little wrist problem, but most of it, I think, is
he's got a thumb.
He likes it.
Yeah, he's got a thumb that has been tender that'll have some wraps on it, but
it doesn't extend all the way to the elbow.
When the sun is out, even though it's a later game, it is plenty warm out on that field right now.
Duper wide left. Clayton's in the slot left. Good defensive play as Hampton is pulled down by Billy Ray Smith.
And that's why the San Diego team missed Billy Ray Smith so much when he was out of that lineup. Not only an outstanding linebacker, but he's also their defensive leader. He's the guy that calls the defenses in there. Right-hand side of your screen, you'll see him quickly around the outside. Look how quickly he just explodes in there to pull that ball carrier down from behind. That is an outstanding play.
So now it is third down and goal to go. The ball at the 5-yard line. And Jensen is back to block with Marino.
Another one of those third downs. Let's see if the ball goes to crash again. No.
Incomplete, almost intercepted by Elvis Patterson.
A miscommunication. Patterson, by the way, will be on the field in those third down situations with the nickel package. A miscommunication here, and I think Marino thought Clayton was going to break to the outside. Clayton went inside, and almost a disaster as that ball very nearly picked off.
Jaworski is into hold for Fuad Reveiz at the 12, and a tip of 22 yards. He has hit 5 of 6 field goals on the year, and he makes this one from 22 yards away. And Miami now has the lead over San Diego for the first time, 10-7.
Today's game is brought to you by Pontiac. We build excitement. By Apple Computer, giving you the power to be your best in home, school, and business. And by Holiday Inn Hotels. There's no better way to take a time out.
This is Charlie Jones and Merlin Olsen. San Diego 7, Miami 10, with 7:59 left to go in the first half. Reveiz will kick off. Anthony Miller and Jamie Holland are deep. Holland on the near side, and he has a 57-yard return to his credit. This one will go to Anthony Miller, and Miller from 4 yards deep comes out with it. 18, maybe 19-yard line where they bend him around.
Charlie, I just saw Brian Kinchin just go down there and knock somebody right on their can and then get a part of that tackle. There's some real hitting going on down on that field.
Today's telecast, presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the San Diego Chargers and the Miami Dolphins, all rights reserved. Chargers from their own 19-yard line. Lionel James remaining back. Malone comes out throwing. He's really played well. Pump fake and a screen set and then drop. Second time in the ball game that the pass has been dropped. Arthur Cox dropped this one. Faked the screen to the left side, came back with a screen to the right side.
Cox is not a great receiver. He basically is a blocker. He's almost a guard. An H-back, 280 pounds. Look out for that guy if he comes your direction, because he'll lay you down.
Malone has hit 5 of 8 for 80 yards and a touchdown, and again 2 have been dropped on him. So he's really been playing well. 5 in the secondary for Miami. Lionel James. Flag is down. James out to the 38-yard line, but there was a marker.
Trap play. Dennis McKnight coming over from the side of the field, but it's going to be called back. You'll see this flag thrown in from behind as Little Train flies away, and you see the applause.
66 offense, second down.
Rosado, the center.
We mentioned that Rosado really has his hands full with Soche. There on the sideline, Babe Laufenberg, one of the quarterbacks, KO'd last week, nailed in the ribs, sternum area, left side. He said he got the hiccups the other day, separated that cartilage. He said, you want to talk about pain?
Oh, that really
he could not stop with the hiccup. Oh,
that really has.
That hurts just to talk about.
To split the distance to the goal, so it is 2nd and 19. Malone on target again. Pass far side to Anthony Miller. A gain of 10 yards out to the 20.
We talked about Rosado working nose up on Brian Soche. Number 66 right there. Pushes him outside. He's on Richards. The tackle actually ends it. No, Dennis McKnight. Take that back. Conan, the Barbarian, working on him one-on-one. Did a good job.
Conan is here. Conan is here.
He is, by the way, the only starter left from that matchup that brought San Diego here in 1982, took them on to the final game of the AFC playoffs that year. 3rd down and 9.
Malone, who's a great athlete, can make it, and he does as he steps out of bounds. He could have been a decathlete. He's that good. Gain of 15. He needed 9. First down. Let's check the other scores. San Francisco now in front of the Rams. New Orleans has scored a touchdown. They leave Seattle 7-3. And Denver has scored. They're out in front of Atlanta 7-0. And here it is Miami 10 and San Diego 7 with 6:18. Time remaining first half.
Look out. Bosa has had leg injuries, ankle injuries. You got to wonder what's going on. He said he thought he was healthy for this game, but obviously not as he limps to the sideline. Not good news for the Miami Dolphins.
Replaced by Eric Kummerow, their #1 draft choice. This pass is complete to the 36-yard line, just a gain of a couple.
Number 45, Rodney Thomas, another one of those 9 draft picks from 1988 that have stuck with the Dolphins in there. And James has played an awful lot so far in this ball game, Charlie.
And we were talking yesterday, day before yesterday on the plane, that James has not been playing that much this year.
Well, he didn't get a single snap. Touched the ball once last week in that loss to New Orleans, and that was on a punt. Not a single play offensively. They wanted to use him a lot in the offense, but he is not big enough and strong enough to stand up to the pounding of playing on every down.
2nd and 8. Malone now 7 of 10 for 92 yards and the touchdown. And here's Lionel. A couple of yards to the 38. Going to be 3rd down and 6.
No one has ever questioned Lionel James's courage, but you got to wonder how long he can continue to go on every snap. He is not a big back. He is a most explosive back. In fact, and he and Gary Anderson, I think the San Diego Chargers have 2 of the finest 3rd down, and I'll say the word again, space backs. People who work well when you get them out in the open. But they're not hammer people. They're not pounders, Charlie, and they're being asked to do that, and they're the ones who are getting pounded.
3rd down and 5. Pass is complete. First down at the 50-yard line. Jamie Holland pulled it in. William Judson with a tackle and a gain of 13. First down.
At the beginning of this year, Jamie Holland was the only experienced wide receiver the Chargers had. And he was a first-year receiver. The other 3 were rookies. Holland also happens to be the quickest of the 3. You see right there the respect he gets from this Miami defense that is most concerned about not giving up that long play, the easy touchdown.
Report on John Bosa, bad left knee, may not be able to return. His Lionel James. They marked it to the 49-yard line of Miami, and he'll pick up a couple of yards to the 47. It's 2nd down and 8, and Mark Malone, I don't know if any one player who can turn this team around. They're not going to see me throw the ball 50 yards, run under it, catch it, and score. That's a very accurate quote.
Well, what he was saying, Charlie, is it takes more than one performance to turn a team around. But I'll tell you what he can do, and it's something he talked to me about doing today, is bringing more confidence into that huddle. And so far, I think he's done that today.
Holland with 3 receptions, 59 yards. Here's James to the 40, cuts to the outside, close to the first down. He may have it.
And a penalty. I think there was a face mask involved there. Number 49, William Judson. It looked to me like he may have gone to the mask on that play. And that's the kind of play that Lionel James makes as well as any back in football. You give him that kind of crack in space, and he is gone.
I wonder why the conference, though. I mean, that's a quick call if that's what it is.
They're asking whether it's flagrant, I think, Charles.
Right. If it's flagrant, it's 15. If it's not, that depends on whether he jerked his
if
head.
they use the mask to take the tackle down and jerk the man around by it, I think they
that
did.
should be 15.
That's the 15-yarder there.
That's the reason for the conference. And
if the hand, Charlie, just goes inadvertently, that's 5. But Judson obviously used the face mask, and of course that's designed to make it safer. You can really damage it. You can break a guy's neck jerking on that mask.
And the report on John Bosa with that injury we talked about, he is out of the ball game.
That's a different injury. He's had an ankle injury, a thigh injury, and now a knee injury.
And now San Diego at the Miami 22, first down. Miami leads 10-7. 3:19 left to go, second quarter. Curtis Adams, fresh legs. He has 3, maybe 4 yards. They'll mark it at the 19. 2nd down and 7. This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen. We're at Joe Robbie Stadium, the site of Super Bowl 23 next January. The time remaining in the second quarter is 2:56, and we're counting down as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC-TV, New York.
Miami 10, San Diego 7. The Chargers on the move. 2nd and 7, Curtis Adams. And he goes out at just about the 5-yard line, maybe just outside the 5.
Very fine second effort by Adams. Watch him. He's going to take a shot right here from one of the linebackers, I think. No, it's Jarvis Williams coming in from his safety position, and he ran right through that arm tackle, showing some good power. Curtis Adams is a back who can stand up to the pounding, and I think we're going to have to see more of him today and rest Little Train if they're going to be able to get him through this afternoon.
Gain of 14, first down goal to go just outside the 5. Adams to the 3.
First hit by Brian Soche from the nose tackle. Went right around the center, Rosado, to get a piece of the ball carrier. Again, Curtis Adams, and there is Boza, and you see the dejection there. He thought he was finally healthy, going to get back into this ball game. You see that pointing right there at the inside of that left knee. That's not good news. They'll go in and check him out in the locker room.
We may take the count all the way to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes now left to go in the first half. Miami leading San Diego by 3, 10-7, and the Chargers are threatening. We'll be back in a moment. Diego's offensive set: a quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, 6 offensive linemen. I think they may run.
I think McKnight is going to be a tight end, number 60. So they're getting all the beef in there. But, Charlie, it could be that they want Miami to think they're going to run, too. They do have the running unit in there. Boy, they got about as many big guys as they got on the bench offensively. Let's see what they do.
It's a fake. Malone's going to go for it. It dives in. Does he get it? No.
He is just short.
And that was a planned play all the way.
No question about it. And I think a quarterback rollout, I've said it often, is a very, very difficult play to diagnose and play against defensively on the goal line because you get an extra blocker.
That little pump was just, I'm not sure. Let's look at that again. Now, I don't think he had defensive contact. I think the ball had touched the line by the time there was defensive contact.
If they can stop this one, you may get a review on it, but I don't think they're going to do it, Charlie.
I think he was in. Had to go with the top. He's in this time.
There you see the slam from Malone, and deservedly so. He and his Chargers have earned a second touchdown against Miami's defense.
And an 81-yard drive.
They've had a couple of very impressive drives. One to start this game, and a second to finish this first half.
A drive of 81 yards in 13 plays. It took 8 minutes and 43 seconds. We have 1:16 left in the first half. Abbott to attempt the point after. San Diego by 3. And now by 4. It is San Diego 14, Miami 10. We'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment. Check of the 10-minute ticker. 49ers in front of the Rams by 7. New Orleans in front of Seattle by 1. And Denver leads Atlanta 7-0. Here it is San Diego 14, Miami 10. And Cribbs will down it in the end zone for the touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown that wasn't. We reviewed this, and a good call by the officials. Watch where the ball is when contact is made.
It's 56 Offerdahl and 29 Hobley, and that ball just short of the goal line. Here is the touchdown that was successful. And again, just barely over the line, but all you have to do is break the plane.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen, 1:16 left to go, second quarter. San Diego leads 14-10. Miami's ball on their own 20-yard line. Do they come out throwing, or do they run out the clock?
I don't think they try and run it out with 1:16. I think you'll see them heading upfield.
Stratford over the middle. Ball is loose. San Diego says they haven't.
Boy, that's
And they do.
That is the one thing you have to know that Shula said, hey, let's take it up the field, but we do not want to cough that football up. The last thing in the world you want to do is give your opponent another chance to score here. And that's exactly what Stratford has done. Plagued by fumbles last year. Let's see if he puts that ball away. 31. Leonard Coleman just stuck his head in there and ripped that ball away. And Stratford did not tuck it away firmly. Saunders, who saw his team get off to a quick 14-0 lead last week, only to lose late in the game to New Orleans, would love to see some more points on the board here.
First down, San Diego, Miami 31, 106 left. Here's Little Train. 23-yard line. Gain of 8 yards. It'll be second down and a couple. And San Diego will take a timeout to stop the clock. 56 seconds. That is the time remaining in the first half. And let's take a look at the scoring by quarter.
You can see why the Chargers are so excited about, well, they've had their 7 points here today to give them a total of 16 in the second quarter. So they did not have a lot of points. 9 points in this quarter going in. The third quarter has been a bad quarter for them, but look at the Dolphins. Third and fourth quarter, a total of 16 points in the second half all season long.
In rushing yardage, San Diego has 73. Is this the right number? Miami, 4 yards rushing in the first half. That may be an all-time record low.
Well, not for this team.
You mean there's more in store for us?
Well, no, I think they're looking for the passing yardage. They don't care how it comes. They want points, Charlie. Right now, they're concerned about getting their defense in there to do something.
Second and 3. Malone throws in zone, and it's incomplete. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver. It'll be third down and 3.
Number 43, Bud Brown, in there with the nickel coverage. And that's going to bring up a fourth down. And, well, Chargers apparently, no, it's third down. I'm sorry. They had already flipped that yard marker as I looked across.
At halftime, Gail, Ahmad, Paul, and Frank will all be with us, joining us on NFL Live. Time of possession, it's been pretty equal so far. San Diego about 14.5 minutes, and Miami around 13 minutes. Malone, 9 of 13, 108 yards, and a touchdown.
Love to pick up this third down coverage right here.
And here is Adams going for the first down, and his point of penetration is going to be enough. It's going to be close to the 20-yard line, and that's what they wanted to do.
Brian Soche, and we've shown you the battle going on between he and Dan Rosato.
And meanwhile, San Diego takes the timeout, so that means we'll stop the clock, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Rosato, watch him working off that block one-on-one. Watch how quickly he gets into the gap right here, pushes everything to the outside, and gets that tackle. Boy, that is great inside-out pursuit by Brian Soche.
And it is a first down just inside the 21-yard line. San Diego now has 1 timeout remaining. They will save that for a field goal attempt. It is caught. It's a touchdown. Darren Flutie.
Number 28, Don McNeil, had trouble early in the season with passes underneath. He comes up, he tries to get a good bump on this play. He'll be on the right-hand side of your screen. He misses the bump, and he's chasing Darren Flutie from behind. You see him there. He has good position, but that was just a perfect pass from Malone. The defensive man could not get to it. Darren Flutie could and did.
And the extra point is good, and suddenly it is San Diego 21, Miami 10 for Darren Flutie. That is his first NFL touchdown, and his brother today led New England over Cincinnati in the upset of the day. 21 for Cincinnati, but 27 for New England earlier in that ball game.
You can put on your helmet and join the defensive backfield of the Miami Dolphins. They could use a little help right at this moment, but it doesn't change the effect, as Flutie just makes a very, very fine catch to put his team up by a substantial margin, and that's exactly what you'd love to do at the end of a ball game. You already have some momentum, you come back, you get a turnover, and you go right after your opponent, put it on the board.
Mark Malone has thrown for 2 touchdowns. He scored the other one himself, and it is San Diego 21, Miami 10.
Coming into this game, Miami's offense, or San Diego's offense, had scored 6 offensive touchdowns. They have 3 in the first half here today.
Flutie's first catch today. And there's a happy man, Mark Malone. And Vince Abbott to kick off. 30 seconds left in the first half. And it is taken to the 10-yard line by Joe Cribbs. Cribbs to the 30. Good return out to the 38-yard line. Vince Abbott, the kicker, is the man who stopped him 28 yards on the return.
Charlie, we joked about this game not producing anywhere near the record of 79 points that we'd seen in that great contest between these two teams back in '82. Well, they've got 31. They're only 48 away. If they can get a collective 48 in the second half, they'll be there.
And we still got 24 seconds left at this half.
That's right.
6 in the secondary. Dan Marino, 12 of 18, 148 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. That fumble recovery, Leonard Coleman knocked the ball loose, recovered the fumble. That's what set it up. The last touchdown. This is to Stratford. Near the 50-yard line, that they mark at the 49, which I think they will. Yes, it'll be a first down. Billy Ray Smith stopped him there, a gain of 11 yards.
The possibility here of getting enough to open up for a field goal attempt. Reveiz has not missed inside the 50-yard line. Has only missed so far this season from 50 even. But right now, Marino will come to the sideline to chat things over with Don and David Shula.
And a chance to check the other scores. Second quarter now, 49ers up by 10 over the Rams. Saints by 1 over the Seahawks. And Atlanta and Denver now tied at the half, 7-7. And of course, be with us at halftime for NFL Live. And we'll be updating and reviewing Gail, Ahmad, Paul, and Frank. We'll be reviewing and updating all of the scores that have taken place today in the NFL. And another couple of quarterbacks have gone down, and they'll also be keeping tabs on that.
Not a good year to be a quarterback,
Really
Charlie.
isn't, is it? What was the reaction to your idea that you proposed on NFL Live of putting a 12th man on offense to block for the quarterback?
I got some interesting conversation from the defensive linemen on these two teams, I can tell you that.
I bet you got some interesting conversation from a lot of people on that. 16 seconds left in the half. It's complete out of bounds. Stops the clock.
Right.
Stratford, a gain of 8.
Charlie, right now, Troy Stratford, who's thinking, I'm sure, about that fumble that set up the touchdown, or at least the opportunity for the touchdown. He's made 2 big catches back-to-back. 11 seconds on the clock. They need another pretty good gainer to get in range for Reveiz. Let's see what they've decided to call here. This one, I would bet, would be down the middle somewhere. They've gone to the sideline twice, down the middle, and then take a timeout. There it is.
Jensen, 31-yard line. San Diego says they come up with the ball, a gain of 11. The play was dead. It was Coleman and Billy Ray Smith for the defense, and they'll mark it at the 31-yard line.
Sanders is saying, hey, that's our football. We got it. You can't blow that one dead. But they did, and the field goal team is on the field.
Five seconds. That is the time remaining in the first half. And apparently Miami took a timeout. It's going to be a short timeout because it was a timeout only to stop the clock to get the field goal team on the field, so they do not have to rush. It's one thing that coaches simply do not like to do because all kinds of mistakes can happen. This will be an attempt of about 49 yards.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about Vince Abbott. He'll watch this one. He'll watch Reveiz. As we mentioned, Reveiz has only missed from the 50-yard line. Inside the 50 has been perfect so far.
Officially an attempt of 48 yards.
Oh!
The upright, no. So Reveiz misses from 48 yards as he hits the upright.
So close. Reveiz with enough power to clear this one, and the ball sails off. You see the wind? The wind blowing that ball off to the left-hand side of your screen and takes it into the upright.
It didn't hook back. It curved with the wind taking it, as Merlin said, halftime. Start the second half. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Vince Abbott to kick it off for San Diego. The Chargers lead as we start the second half by a score of 21-10. And it will be Cribbs at the 7-yard line. And he's out to the 15, to the 20. Good return going, 25. We've seen good returns on both sides. There was one takeaway in the first half. It was by Leonard Coleman, and that set up the touchdown to Flutie from Malone. And so Miami will go to work to open the second half.
Marino will not change what he did in the first half. He was very effective. The one thing he did not get was a lot of touchdowns. As you look at the stats,
or a lot of rushing yardage.
The rushing yardage, that's 4 yards. Miami has done a fair job of running the football. The Chargers, with almost a 5-yard per rush average, doing a much better job here than Miami.
And the throw is incomplete, and he had pressure and had to get rid of it, and Lorenzo Hampton, the intended receiver.
Number 75, Joe Phillips, coming right up the middle. And if you want to put heat on Marino, that's the place you want to get it, because that forces him then to deal with that man coming right at him. And Marino, at sometimes during the early part of this year, has done exactly what he did there, thrown the ball short, actually putting it into the ground. There's the man who put the heat on. He and Mike Charles stacked on the right side of the defense.
Second down and 10. The 36-yard line. Stratford gets the call. Billy Ray Smith with the tackle. Gain of 3. It's going to be 3rd down and 7.
We talked about Billy Ray Smith's importance to this offense. You see him taking on the blocker right there, Davenport, number 30, in the hole. And even though the ball carrier able to get in there inside, Billy Ray still there to get a chunk of him to force the 3rd and 7.
Six in the secondary, anticipating the pass. 3rd down, 7. Five on the rush, and it is incomplete to Jensen, and it was Billy Ray Smith that was pressuring Marino this time.
Great play by Billy Ray again, as he literally hurdles a blocker. Watch him as he streaks in from the right side of the defense. Watch it right here. He's going to jump right over the block right there. That's like a hurdle. Edwin Moses going in there after Marino, forces the quick throw, and Miami will have to kick it away here in their first possession.
Reggie Roby to kick. His first punt was good for only 35. Lionel James, the return man. Oh, he hangs a beauty up.
Yeah, bring rain with that one.
Yes. 10-yard line. 15. 19-yard line. A fumble. The ball is loose. Miami may have it. It's still loose. Miami has it. Rick Graff came out with it.
And Shula, I'm sure, who was shaking his head and saying, what the heck's going on here now? It's Al Saunders. What a quick turnaround the turnover can bring to you. Roby out, kicks his coverage. It looks like Little Train is going to get away here. There's the trip. That's number 11, Crash Jensen, I think, that knocked that ball loose, the do-everything specialist. And there is some real sadness on the far sideline.
First down, Miami. San Diego, 14-yard line, a 54-yard kick. Little Train got 10 yards before he lost the ball. Stratford with great moves. Vincey Glenn finally got it.
Stratford talks about putting a shake on people, and boy, he did it there. He can make you miss. Watch him as he gets inside now. He'll just take a little dip here. There's nothing available there. Watch him go outside. Now watch this shake he puts on. Look at that. That little double move right there. Put a man right on the ground. Ends up with about 6.5 yards. Well, more than that. Almost 8 yards on the play.
They're going to mark it to the 6-yard line. Gain of 8. 2nd down and 2. 2nd down and 6 for the touchdown.
Even in 2nd and short, Marino not afraid to throw that football.
Davenport, good diving for the first. He'll have the first down. Billy Ray Smith was there on the stop along with Fawcett.
Right up inside between the two tackles. Davenport just diving in there. 1st and goal, just barely outside the 2-yard line.
So Stratford fumbled for Miami. It was recovered by Coleman. That led to a San Diego touchdown. And Lionel James fumbles. It's recovered by Rick Graff. And looks as if it will lead to 7 for the Dolphins. 1st down goal to go. Simpson in motion. He's there to block. Touchdown. Lorenzo Hampton, that is his 6th touchdown of the season.
The Miami Dolphins, who had scored so few points in the 2nd half, come out, make a poor start, then get the turnover and capitalize, getting it into the end zone as Hampton goes in behind some excellent blocking.
Harry Galbraith with the lead block. The extra point attempt. It is good. And Miami pulls within 4. It is San Diego 21, the Dolphins 17. Back with a kickoff in a moment.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda and the exciting new Mazda cars and trucks for 1989. By Atra Plus, Gillette made it smoother. And by Diet Coke. Enjoy Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen. Lorenzo Hampton now with 6 touchdowns on the season. And it's San Diego 21, Miami 17. Roby to kick off.
I wonder, it may be that Reves had hurt himself somehow.
Well, you know, he was in on one of the tackles on one of the returns, and his thigh may be bothering him. Another thing, kickers don't wear all the padding that everybody else wears. Jamie Holland to the 20, and a good return out to the 27-yard line. Muscle pull. Juan Reves, 20 yards on the return, so that's the reason that he is...
They're gathering around, and the reason they're doing that, they're obviously going to put some kind of wrap on his leg, so that's a human screen there. Best not to take our camera into that screen, Charlie, and
I don't know, might help our rating.
allow him an opportunity.
San Diego at the 27-yard line. He may not return is the report that we get. They'll be working on it. Not only does that hurt him physically, it could hurt the offense of the Dolphins. Curtis Adams.
That play almost made in the backfield, but Adams able to steal a little bit of yardage.
T.J. Turner with the tackle. 49ers now lead the Rams by 10. New Orleans in front of Seattle by 4 in that battle in the Kingdome. Atlanta and Denver at Mile High Stadium remain tied at 7-7. And here at San Diego 21, Miami 17.
A lot of pressure right now on Malone. Things have kind of shifted toward Miami.
And the offense comes right back. Here's Curtis Adams. But that shift was not affected by the offense. The offense should not allow that to bother them at all.
They should not. And the other thing that has to happen here, if you're examining the flow of this game, Curtis Adams, we mentioned, so important because he takes some of the rushing heat off Little Train James. Watch the play. Little cross-action play. Curtis Adams getting great blocking up inside. That's Arthur Cox, 88. Ken Dallafor, 61. What a beautiful set of blocks there. I think that's what hurt him right there, the shot in the back. Looks like he may have bruised the kidney a little bit on that one.
Gain of 12, first down at the 44, play action. Over the middle, it is tipped and is incomplete. Anthony Miller, the intended receiver. It'll be second down and 10.
That is the kind of pass that got Mark Malone in a lot of trouble when he was quarterbacking in Pittsburgh. Crossing patterns where he has to time the throw into the zones. That ball bounced in the air. Boy, you see one bounce like that more often than not. It's an interception, Charlie.
Second and 10.
Good numbers for Malone on the day. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
10:30 time remaining in the third quarter. Screen right side, Cox the tight end. He dropped his pass earlier in the ball game, comes back with a reception, goes to the 49, has 5, and it'll be third down and 5. Now they're setting something else up off of this play with that fake screen left, come back with a fake screen right. Now we've seen that twice.
We've seen it twice. Cox just about dropped that one. I talked about the fact that Malone has had 2 touchdowns, no interception. Reve's continuing to be worked on, and I'm sure they're putting a wrap on and taping it. That's that human screen we talked about, giving him a little privacy down there anyway, although not much.
Not much, but not for my camera.
Larry Strillo and Don Gonzalez saying, hey, we know where you are.
Third down 5.
Blitz.
Pass is complete. First down.
Fumble.
Flutie fumble.
I think Miami tried to get the ball, but it looks like San Diego ended up with it.
One official gave an early Miami kind of a tentative, and the other one came and said no, San Diego retained it. And it could have been the center, Rosado, who was down there. See what happened. You can't get
the
down
ball
to
is
that
going to
quickly.
squirt right
Yes.
there. It's on the ground. Bud Brown has it momentarily. Number 43. It went right out from underneath
It is.
him.
Boy,
and
the center.
Rosado, the center, gets there along with Cox, the tight end, number 88.
Now the officials have stopped the clock.
They want to review that play, but it's clearly a fumble.
Yeah.
Further review, the play will stand as called. First down.
Yes, but great hustle by Rosado, who is the only full-blooded Puerto Rican in the National Football League, and he went down to get it.
You'll see it again. The ball bouncing loose. It is loose right there. Jarvis Williams, number 26, stripping it away, and so close to being controlled by number 43, Bud Brown, but he couldn't wrap it up.
So good hustle by an offensive center. First down at the 43. On target again. Malone continues with a hot hand. Rod Bernstein, his first reception is good for 7 yards.
Charlie, how good is this day for Malone? He came into this day with a quarterback ranking of 44.6 with no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. But he continues to play well, and perhaps what he needed was an opportunity to come in as a starter. He has also gotten excellent support today. He's had some good catches by his receivers, and he's had surprisingly good protection from his offensive line.
He told us this morning he expected to be the starter when he came to San Diego. He said, I just had to wait a little longer than I thought. 13 of 18, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. With a nice touch, it is caught, and then fumbled, and then out of bounds. They're going to rule the ball out of bounds.
They're going to rule the ball in possession
Of San Diego, that's right.
and the ball will stay in San Diego's hands.
Quinn Early pulled it in for 34 yards.
Quinn Early just going to streak down the far side of the field here. And watch it. It's just a timing pattern. Right over the top, right there. 1-2. That ball did not come out until he hit the ground. And the ball was out of bounds without being possessed by Miami. It belongs to the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
And they're going to review it.
The ball knocked loose before the player is down, goes out of bounds without possession. The only thing they can look at is, did the receiver have possession? Was the pass complete?
He has to put 2 feet down before it's a completed pass, and it looked to me like he certainly did that.
It was our time. Get back in the huddle. Wait a minute. They only had 1. I know that, but we got the clock. You go play the 30-second while we were sitting here talking. 30 seconds. Put it on 30 seconds.
Shall we tell him his mic is on, Charlie?
Get back. Yes, number 60. We have an administrative timeout. 30 seconds on the clock. A forward. The fumble was forward. It's first down.
That's right. They're right on the call. They're exactly right. It's an administrative timeout, so you set the clock at 30 seconds rather than 45. That's what it was. The ball went out of bounds. Good call, but the officials are absolutely right. Tim Spencer, maybe a foot away, foot and a half away. It's going to be second down and goal to go.
Tim Spencer, one of those hard-nosed backs. They're getting a chance to get some playing time in critical situations where it really means something today.
And again, that offensive set with 6 offensive linemen, 2 tight ends, and 2 running backs. And now Malone ran off of this.
A lot of folks that can block you, not too many that can catch the football there. Roll out. No, he's going to hand it inside.
And Curtis Adams goes in to score. And for Curtis Adams, that is his first touchdown on the year.
And Charlie, I think they've called some kind of penalty against a pre-planned celebration down there. They're going to give him a penalty on that.
That'll be a delay of game call.
Curtis Adams handed it to one of his linemen and let him spike it on the play.
Well, you can't do that. You've got to react and spike it yourself. They will attach that on the kickoff.
Delay of game foul.
Yeah, delay of game.
Spiking on 73.
Darryl Brills.
Enforced on the kickoff.
Come enforce it on the kickoff. 27-17 with the extra point to come. San Diego leading again by 10 as they did earlier. And it is good. San Diego 28, Miami 17.
On this same set earlier, Mark Malone had rolled out to the outside. I think Miami remembered the play. Not so this time. They busted over for the touchdown.
73-yard drive in 9 plus. The offensive machine, the San Diego Chargers. You can really see that. I didn't think you'd be able to see that all year long.
Well, Charlie, they had 6 touchdowns coming into this game on the season offensively. They've had 4 here today. Mark Malone did not have a touchdown pass coming in. He has certainly played well here, and I think accounted for much of the success of this San Diego offense in the way he has controlled things.
Vince Abbott kicking off. Cribbs on the return to the 30. We've had some good kickoff returns. 22 yards on this one. And the headliners, earlier games today. Despite 469 yards, Testaverde, the Colts held on for a 35-21. Boomer Esiason intercepted 5 times. Bengals' first loss. New England wins that one 27-21. The difference a week makes. Randall Cunningham sacked 9 times. Browns win over the Eagles. Jim Harris scores a safety and a touchdown. The Pack is back. Second straight win. Upsetting the Vikings 34-14. And we have an injury timeout. Sam Seal being administered to. It is San Diego 28, Miami 17. Back in a moment. Has completed 16 of 24, 191 yards and a touchdown. And he rolls out again. He's been rolling on more. Throws back on the screen pass near side. It's complete. It'll be a big gainer. Good defensive play.
Vincey Glenn, number 25, coming up from his safety position to literally submarine Troy Stratford.
Held him to 11 yards.
That is a nice play. It looked like the play would go further. This play, the same kind of play we saw Arthur Cox run for San Diego earlier. Good block there on Gilbert 22. But watch Glenn going right in and taking the toenail. That's what he got. He got the toenail and got him down.
This is Charlie Jones, Merlin Olsen. 6:50. That is the time remaining. We're in the third quarter, Joe Robbie Stadium. San Diego 28, Miami 17. It's been an offensive explosion this afternoon. Stratford. Incomplete.
Stratford had thrown one pass earlier in the year. They're trying to catch the San Diego defense flat-footed. Stratford sells the run pretty well. Looks like he comes to run here. but stopped at the last second. Actually, he's been hooked already, was on his way to the ground.
He may have been past the line of scrimmage when he threw that also.
Number 34, Elvis Patterson, had excellent coverage, was not fooled.
He was past the line of scrimmage, yes.
Good eye, Charlie. You had that one nailed down.
He did sell it well, but he sold it for a yard too. He sold it for a yard too long.
Well. And of course, that's loss of down as well as yardage, so that's a pretty costly penalty.
Why do you do that when you have an arm of a Marino? Just try to catch the secondary napping. They come up to cover the run, and you sit somebody behind them.
Charlie, you love to go into every game with a few tricks.
Pass, he threw it after he went across the line of scrimmage. Lost it down, 5 yards, second down.
Line of scrimmage right here. You get a chance to feel it right there, just on the 42-yard line, just out, 47-yard line, but watch him here. 1, 2, yep, he has definitely passed it. You get a feeling for it. He did not pass it much, but the official was right there on the line.
Incomplete. And again, we're seeing Marino rolling out both sides. And meanwhile, Roby is loosening up. He could well handle all of the kicking chores. We saw him kick off. He may be going for extra points and field goals also.
Maybe he'll drop kick one, Charlie. It's been a long time since we've seen that in the NFL. I think he's just warming up his leg, anticipating a fourth down punt. Well, those shirts you see the Shula and his staff wearing, they started wearing 2 weeks ago. They won 2 in a row. They may take them off after today unless they burn
like the ones after the Chicago game.
Yeah, unless they can get things turned around here, because certainly in the second half, aside from the conversion that they got right after the turnover, they have not done a great deal.
You don't keep winning because of big budget items. Marino drops it, picks it up, throws it, completes it. 40-yard line ball is loose.
No interception.
Right now they're going to say no.
And they're saying that Duper did not have control of that football. And Marino, who fought with the ball, Marino having all kinds of trouble of his own. Duper has the football, but watch him bounce it there. Simply did not have control of the football. That was a good call by the official.
And so it will be fourth down. And Lionel James, who has fumbled on a punt return. Let's go back to the stats. A bad snap.
Marino actually just dropped the snap. I don't think it was that bad. Zellenbach maybe got it a little bit high, but not that bad a snap.
There's pressure. This one just went right rolling to the side. I'm not sure the defender touched the ball, did he?
Roby, I think, thought he was going to get that one blocked. Betsy Glenn had gone all the way in, and Roby, stopped his foot at the last second and just kicked a little roller. Watch Betsy Glenn, left side of your screen, number 25, in by himself. Roby thinks he's going to block this kick. Literally almost missed the football.
Yes.
Now, that football rolling downfield gets a small roll, but not a great deal on it.
So San Diego has the ball at their own 31-yard line. We'll be back in a moment.
Stadium, watch Roby. He feels the pressure. He jerks his foot away and almost misses the ball entirely. They're lucky they got the roll on that ball. 26 yards on the punt. And Roby, I'm sure, wondering what he has to do to get himself back in sync here today. Not a good day for Reggie Roby.
San Diego at their own 31-yard line, and they shift back to the shotgun. First down. This is a screen, and it's complete, and it's caught. His second reception of the ballgame, 36-yard line, gain of 5. Second down and 5.
Ball in the hands of a tackle almost, 280 pounds. Cox able to maneuver well. We said that he is primarily a blocker, but he's caught the ball several times today on screen passes. San Diego would love to be able to control the football. I think the thing that's impressed me most about what they've done today, Charlie, are the long drives that they have been able to sustain. Their early touchdowns on the season were mostly home runs, big plays.
87, 81, and 73 yards on the drive. Here's Curtis Adams, first down at the 43-yard line.
If you look at what Al Saunders has done in San Diego, in 1987 he brought in 16 new players. In 1988 he brought in 17 new players. 33 of a 47-man roster new faces. I mean, these guys ought to wear name tags. Hello,
I think they do.
my name is...
They put it in pencil. So he didn't want to use the tag again.
They're looking good right now.
They are. Malone, all the time in the world. Complete 40-yard line of Miami to Anthony Miller.
You don't want to give any quarterback that amount of time, but especially one who has a group of gifted, young, fleet wide receivers. And that's one of the best right there. Finding a space between the zones. John Offerdahl there, Jarvis Williams there, but too late. Pass complete.
And a gain of 17 yards, Miami 40-yard line, San Diego 28, Miami 17, 4:19 and counting, third quarter. Curtis Adams, 38-yard line, gain of a couple, second down and 8. I have a report in. Injury, quarterback, John Elway.
Oh, my.
Knee injury. Also out today, Steve Pallur, concussion of Dallas, Mark Ripon, bruised ribs of Washington. 3 more quarterbacks go down today.
Well, Charlie, we had, what, 19 of them down before today? It's an ongoing problem. You got to wonder how we're going to play it. Well, we got one here. Malone is the second-team quarterback and doing well.
Yes, he is. Second down and 8. Incomplete. Jamie Holland, the intended receiver. It'll be third down and 8. And with the coverage was Rodney Thomas. Yards rushing, 106. Yards passing, 205. Total offense, 311 yards.
And you have to wonder, Charlie, the San Diego offense coming in here perhaps read the papers. Mark Brown, the linebacker, had predicted a shutout for today.
That's right.
He said, hey, we're going to shut that San Diego offense out.
Yeah, that went by the boards in the first 4 minutes of the ball game. Malone is sacked.
Third sack, Eric Kumaro, a #1 draft pick, sprinting in. He's playing for John Boza, who left with that knee injury early in the ball game. Right-hand side of your picture, he's coming underneath. He was on a stunt. He breaks clear right there. He has fine speed. He runs Malone down for the big loss. It'll be fourth down and a kick.
His third sack of the year, first sack of the ball game. A loss of 11. And Mojinko to kick. In reality, gives Mojinko more room to work with. He could kick away from here. He doesn't have to try to just punch it inside the 20. He's the leading kicker of the National Football League.
That's a return ball there.
At the 5 to the 10. Good coverage. It was, because it was a low driving punt.
He tends to drive the ball occasionally, and when you hit the ball low like that, you run a risk. 44 yards on the punt, only 10 yards on the return, had a chance for more.
49ers now by 3 over the Rams. New Orleans by 1 over Seattle. Norm Johnson with 3 field goals. Denver leading by 10 over Atlanta. Again, John Elway out of that ball game with a knee injury. We do not have a further report. Here it is, San Diego 28, Miami 17. The ball at the Miami 15-yard line, and the Dolphins have a first down.
We talked about Miami's difficulty in scoring in the second half. Only 16 points coming into this game. They've got 7 here already. They need a lot more.
It's dropped. Stratford, the intended receiver. Second and 10. Reno is moving around a lot more today. And I like that. I like that motion.
I think he probably doesn't mind that either. It gets him away from some of the pressure, and I'm sure that part of the plan is to sprint him out occasionally to get him away from the heat. You see Kumaro taking congratulations on the bench from Dan Sakanovich, the defensive line coach for the Miami Dolphins.
Davenport is the remaining back with Marino in the shotgun, second down and 10. Incomplete. Perfect timing by Vince Glenn. Duper went for it, made contact, and then Glenn made contact.
That's one of those balls that just stayed up too long. Look at how much ground Betsy Glenn covered, and he's lucky that that ball hung up there as long as it did.
Now the fans' reaction, they see it on the big screen. They thought that he got there too soon. The defender, that is, got there too soon, Betsy Glenn. You watch the ball, I'll notice the hit. There's the hit. He did get there. He did get there.
Well, you have to remember, we're running that in slow motion, so it was not as big a to the eye at full speed.
You're right.
It was almost simultaneous.
Out of trouble, incomplete.
Sammy Steele, who left the ball game earlier, limping a bit, back in for man-to-man coverage on that play, and we do have a flag down.
Back at the 8-yard line.
And it's going to go
Billy Ray's
against
down.
Billy Ray. I think a roughing call on Billy Ray, on the quarterback. You see him limping a little bit. That's that calf, I think, that we talked about.
I've got a further update on John Elway. A sprain. That was a call on the personal foul. It is a sprained right ankle, but the right knee is being x-rayed. That's the latest that we have, and if we get any further updates, we'll be giving that to you, of course.
Is there a team in the NFL that relies more on the playing ability of one person than Denver on, well,
yeah, Miami.
Right here
I'm just pointing out, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
As Marino goes, so go the Dolphins.
And both Marino and Elway have had tough starts this year.
This one is complete to Brian Kitchen. Keith Browner with the tackle.
$92 points the Dolphins have put on the board in the first half. Second half, 23, and that includes...
That's on the year. That's not today.
That includes today's points as well.
Today, yeah.
Yes, that's an updated number. So
no, but I thought if somebody just joined us that they scored 92 in the first
no,
half.
they didn't. We talked about magic numbers.
Yeah.
That'd really be a magic number. Second and 7.
Incomplete. Oh, Duper should have had that one. Bird was there.
Mark Duper dropped 4 passes in that opening game to Chicago, and part of it was that he just simply was not ready to play. Had held out through the training camp. He's ready now. He simply loses concentration on that football. That would have been a first down. Let's see if he takes his eye off of it, Charlie. Well, he's got his head. He just flat dropped the football.
And they're working on Billy Ray Smith on the far side. Marino 18 of 31, 205 yards. Third down and 7. Here comes the blitz. Marino has good protection. Pass is complete. Mark Clayton. Key reception. 3rd and 7 at the 33. A minute and a half to go in the third. Coleman finally with the stop and a first down. San Diego 48-yard line. 15 yards. More than that.
Still an awful lot of time in this football game. You see Plummer, number 50, blitzing up the middle. Good pickup inside by Jeff Dellenbach, the center. There's the run after the play. I don't think anyone in the league for a small receiver runs any better than Mark Clayton after the catch.
Mark it for 19 yards to the San Diego 48.
Look at that. Whoa.
This time Duper holds on to it. And he picks up 15. So that's 19 and 15 back-to-back first down. Does Duper catch better on the right side than the left? Should that make any difference?
It can make a difference.
He dropped
sure.
to the left. That one is a good reception.
You
on the
bet.
right.
But he was turning out to the outside, so he was catching it over the same shoulder as he caught that one over, Charlie.
Yeah.
So almost identical. Some receivers indeed do catch better going one way. Duper, I'm sure, glad to tuck that one away and pick up the first down. What a nice pass from Marino.
Yeah. 34-yard line of San Diego. Chargers out in front 28-17. Miami on the move. Hampton. And he goes out of bounds around the 26-yard line. We talked about the quarterbacks being hurt. Again, we mentioned Elway with an ankle and a knee that's being x-rayed. Well, this man, Dan Marino, has played in the last 76 of 79 games, the 3 that he missed.
Strike games.
Yes.
Yes. And he's been extremely lucky. You see some of the protection that he wears, both those knees with braces on them, and he has had his knees scoped regularly after the season, so it's not that he hasn't been hit.
No.
But he's a survivor.
That left knee has been scoped 4 of the last 5 seasons, and this is his 6th season in the league. Is it caught?
Yes.
1 yard line. Time running out in the quarter. The tree, Farrell Edmonds.
You had to wonder when they would go to the big man. He's one-on-one coverage right there. Not David Brandon. Good play. That's Pete Browner, 57, under coverage.
Into the 3rd quarter, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local sponsor.
That's a 270-pound linebacker trying to cover a tight end who's 6'7" and runs a 4.5 40. He was getting away from him.
1 yard line, 1st down, goal to go Miami. Fake. Marino with the ball. Knocked down. Trying to go back to Farrell Edmonds for the touchdown, and Browner made the play.
Browner said, "You got me once. You're not going to get me twice." And Browner, who's got some size himself and some stretch on him, got his hand on that football, knocked it away.
But at the 1 yard line, you don't want to handle the ball that much. I'm surprised that they came with that, except I believe really they wanted Edmonds to have a touchdown.
Very close in total yardage, Charlie. Close in time of possession. Not quite so close on the board, although Miami can make it that way if they can get this ball into the end zone.
The Rams are now in front of San Francisco, 21-17, an Everett touchdown pass. 2nd down, goal to go. Crash jets of the lead blocker over the top. It is good. Lorenzo Hampton scoring his 2nd touchdown of the ball game and his 7th of the season. And a drive of 85 yards.
In behind Roy Foster, John Giesler, Jeff Dellenbach on the left side. Up and over. Well, that's a little tumbling move. Looks like soul again. This is gymnastics. And Al Saunders, who has seen his team get off to good starts and have opportunities the last 2 weeks, only to lose to Denver and New Orleans. Well, Reve's in there. Let's see how he does.
The injured kicker.
Ooh.
Oh, does he make it through? Yes, it just slides through. That hurt when you watched it.
And they're going to have to help him off the field.
Yeah.
There, Jaworski giving him some assistance as he headed off the field.
28-24. Back for the kickoff in a moment.
Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by the good time, great taste of McDonald's.
Let's go back to the last point after Reve's, as we have pointed out, was injured earlier in the ball game. And we were not sure. It just slides through on the right-hand side, and that is, you kind of winced as he made the kick, and they had to help him off the field. That you
Jaworski helping him.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as he turns into that football, it's that plant leg that is sore, and he is really in trouble.
Okay, so Roby is kicking off for the 2nd time in the ball game.
Out of bounds.
And this will hit out of bounds, and so San Diego will have possession 30 yards from the spot of the kickoff. Since he kicked off from the 35-yard line, they will have it offensively at their own 35-yard line. And that last scoring drive by Miami, 85 yards in 10 plays, just under 3 minutes. Hampton scoring his 2nd touchdown of the ball game from a yard out, and his 7th of the year.
Charlie, this has been a game for statistics bashing. The Chargers, who had scored only, as we mentioned, 6 touchdowns coming into today, have 4 on the day. And Miami, that only had 16 points in the 2nd half, already has 14 here in the 2nd half today.
Malone's pass continues to hit his target. This time it is Jamie Holland, and a gain of 12 yards and the 1st down. Yesterday in practice, Al Saunders said to us as we talked, I said, What about Vlasic? Are we going to see him this year at quarterback? He said we're going to look at Mark Malone, and we're going to look at him the next 2 weeks. And if he does not produce, we'll go right to Vlasic, and he'll finish out the season. Malone, I think, has established himself now as a starting quarterback for San Diego.
Well, he certainly has given himself the confidence that will get him the job next week, and if he continues, the week after that.
And also the confidence of the other ball players.
This is a different football team with Malone in it as the starting quarterback.
They'll mark the play good to the 49-yard line. It'll be good for 4. Arthur Cox with the reception, his 4th reception. We have a report on Reveiz. He will kick extra points, but not field goals.
Charlie, one of the things that this San Diego Charger team needs is time to play together. We talked about how young they are. If they could go somewhere and play 8 or 10 games and just come back, that's really what they need more than anything is seasoning, experience.
As starters, they don't even average per person a 4-year in the NFL.
No, they don't.
As an average, they're all basically rookies as far as games played with San Diego.
Fumble.
And Miami has it.
This is going to be a little run up the middle that gets excellent yardage.
And Lionel Little Train's second fumble of the ball game.
And again, I would have to believe that it's the pounding. We talked about the pounding, and Little Train is not the kind of back who can go up inside and take that pounding. He goes in there again, and it's just chopped right out of his hand.
And Don McNeil recovers for Miami. And Marino comes out throwing. First down at the Miami 41-yard line, and the pass is complete to Stratford.
Charlie, I really believe that this is where San Diego is going to be tested not only on defense but as a team, because their level of confidence is not there in terms of believing that they can come back, believing that they can win when the situation turns against them. They did come back and win in overtime, came back to tie and win in that game against Kansas City, but they are not yet a confident team. They need to do something here.
And the defense will have to do without Billy Ray Smith, who is out with a groin injury. 2nd and 4. Reno goes deep, has a man, it's Duper. He's got it. 3-yard line.
Cooper dropped the ball occasionally today, but you see here why he is so highly regarded. Just a little stutter step, freezes the defensive back momentarily, blows right on by him. That's Elvis Patterson now playing in that cornerback position. They picked on Bennett so much that they took him out of there finally. 51 yards, the longest of the year for Miami.
And Miami takes the timeout.
They must have been down close to that 30-second clock.
So we'll go along with them at San Diego 28, Miami 24, and they threaten first and goal at the 3. Game number 2 of the World Series. If it's anything like game number 1, I'll tell you, we'll be up past midnight watching it and enjoying it.
Well, we certainly have had an exciting show here. Couldn't ask for more than these two teams have given us today, Charlie.
First down, goal to go for the lead at the San Diego 3. Play action fake. Good defensive play. Stratford is dropped by Gilbert. Well, that's a picture tackle.
Gilbert, who was not faked out by the play action inside, waiting for his man on the outside and knew exactly how to turn him upside down. Watch the play by number 22. Right there, takes him underneath, lifts him off his feet, and dumps him on his back. 2nd and about 4 yards to go, and twice now, Miami has opted to pass in what was an apparent running situation, and it's backfired both times.
And San Diego now has gone to their pass defense at the 3-yard line. And it's a sweep to the right side, and it's a touchdown.
23, Troy Stratford. Well, that's the way to deal with the defense. San Diego trying to guess with Miami, as Miami did with them on the play before, and it backfired in both cases. You're right, Charlie. They expected to pass. They got the run. Oh, and a little bit of holding on the outside, too, as a linebacker. Somebody had his shirt from the backside. Well,
not in the purview of the replay official.
They don't call that anymore, do they?
And now here's Reves, the injured kicker. And it's perfect.
Let's see if we can see that holding call. I think it's a holding call on the backside. We'll watch this play. Maybe we can get it to stop here in a second. Right there. Whoa, did you see that shirt being pulled?
Yes.
Leonard Coleman, number 31, almost undressed him out there.
And Miami leads by 3, 31-28.
Back at Joe Robbie Stadium, and Charlie, we opened by showing a tease of that great playoff game where these two teams played into overtime, got 79 points on the board. We said, boy, we won't see 79 points here today. Well, two teams that have been dormant on offense have exploded today.
They have scored a total of 59 points, and remember, the 79 points came in overtime. There's now a 3-point difference. And once again on the return, it is Jamie Holland, who has had an outstanding kickoff return day. You're shaking your head.
I think it was 83. I don't think it was Holland. That would be Miller.
Oh, was it Anthony Miller, number 83?
They both have great speed, and they both know how to sprint. It is 86. You had the right name, the wrong number. 86, Holland is the guy.
Wait a minute, that's what I said.
They're trying to kick it away from Miller, and they're finding out that that's not such a good idea either, because Jamie Holland is having a good day.
And it looked like maybe, a borderline like a late hit, and then some kicking and pushing underneath, and a flag is down, and usually the officials always nail the second man.
You never want to be the second guy.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 86 on the receiving team.
Now, that's a call you seldom see. He was underneath the stack and was trying to get up, and they were holding him down. That's a bad call by the official. Mark that one down. They've had a good game. That's a bad
Charlie,
call.
let's see if he is antagonized in any way.
Oh,
no.
Just kicking him.
You can't do that, Charlie.
Like I said, good call. Once again, a good call by the official.
That's Brian Kinchin, number 88. He's just trying to do his job on special teams.
See how easy I am? Go with the flow. Here's Malone from the 20. This pass is complete. Rod Bernstein, who is 6'3", 238 pounds, is just thrown down by Mark Brown.
We have not called Mark Brown's name many times today, and we said earlier that he had predicted a shutout of the San Diego Chargers today. He's had quite a frustrating afternoon. They've targeted him all day long. But right now, this crowd is into this game like you cannot believe, and that is going to help this Miami defense.
Second down and 4. A lot of time. 10:35 left of the ball game. And here comes the blitz. Flag is down. Pass is incomplete.
Brian Soche tackled on the last play, and he gets up on this play and says, what do I have to do to get a holding call? Well, I think he finally got one on Dan Rosado.
San Francisco has scored.
Number 66 offense. Second down.
Roger Craig has 3 touchdowns for the 49ers. They now lead the Rams 24-21 in that ballgame.
A test right now for Mark Malone. Yep. Things are kind of disintegrating out there, Charlie. And one of the things that the Chargers have done a good job on today, not on the penalties because they haven't done a good job there, converting third down. But they need to get a bunch on this so they don't have to go third and long.
It's 2nd and 14. 2 penalties since the kickoff, hurting San Diego, self-destructing, out of time, pass incomplete. Malone was avoiding the loss here is what he was doing. Cox, the intended receiver. It will be 3rd and 14.
Good power rush by Brian Soche and T.J. Turner. They move Soche out to the end position. because he rushes so well out there. I don't know of another nose tackle in the NFL that you'd consider doing that with.
And T.J. Turner coming inside, so it's 3rd down and 14. Malone had to get rid of the ball.
And there are not many good plays for 3rd and 14.
If Miami holds here, then they will come up with an extra field position following the punt. Almost intercepted. Bud Brown had an opportunity to pick it off. Quinn Early, the intended receiver. And it's 4th and 14.
One of the areas in which Shula wanted his team to improve was in the takeaway department. And they did it the last 2 weeks. 4 interceptions in each of those games. They've had a couple of critical turnovers today, but they should have had that one.
Ralph Moshinko, leading punter in the NFL. Scott Schwades to return. And pressure.
I think there's no flag there. I believe they're saying he was pushed into that punter.
And Schwades is taken out of bounds with a high tackle on the far side by Keith Browner.
Let's go and look at that last play. It's 59, Bob. No, it's 90. Excuse me. No, it's 59. I was right.
59 was not blocked into him, though, was he?
Well, let's see if we can look. They're saying
yeah, can we go back? Because I was watching the man coming up the middle.
Boy, and Brzezinski, I think, got a foot right in the face. But I think they're saying he was blocked in.
All right.
Let's see if he was. Yeah, pushed.
We need to go back just a little further.
But he was pushed. You saw the push right there from 88.
I couldn't tell, to tell you the truth.
Arthur Cox, I think, the guy who pushed Brzezinski into the punter on that play.
Okay. Miami has the ball at San Diego's 43-yard line. Reno's pass is incomplete.
And there's someone else we have not heard a lot from today, Lee Williams, number 99, but using that huge wingspan of his to knock that ball away. I'll tell you who's done a fine job today. Ronnie Lee, playing nose-to-nose with a broken toe, done a good job on Williams.
All right, check of all the scores. Upset Cincinnati over New England. Is that right? 21-2? I think that score is incorrect, but that's the wrong score. Houston upsets Pittsburgh. That's not an upset. Well, we'll come back to all those scores and run them down. Let's go back. We'll check it all, and then we'll have it for you. 2nd and 10. The score here is Miami 31, San Diego 28. Over the middle, pass is complete. 41-yard line. Gain of 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 as Gil Byrd brings down Stratford. Now here are the scores. New England 27, Cincinnati 21. That's the big upset.
We just wanted to see if the audience was keeping an eye on those things.
I'm confused by this whole thing. As you look at the scores, what that means is that next week, Cincinnati 6-1, Houston 5-2 will be meeting in a big ball game as you look at the other scores.
Raiders coming back. Kansas City winning that ball game. Third and 8. Marino in a shotgun.
Incomplete. And Leslie O'Neal was putting the pressure on.
O'Neal, as we mentioned, getting his first opportunity to play in almost 2 years. And Ronnie Lee, you see him limping as he comes off the field. I mentioned he's got 2 broken toes on that left foot. I'll tell you, he has had an outstanding day working on a very, very tough defensive lineman. We have heard little from Lee Williams today.
Reggie Roby to kick. Lionel James, 2 costly fumbles. 1 on a punt return and 1 on an offensive play for scrimmage. This will just sail into the end zone for the touchback. So we're bringing the ball out to the 20-yard line. We have 8:57 left to go in the ballgame. 41 yards on the kick.
Danny Marino's a gamer. He's not very happy with seeing that drive end up short.
We go back to the scoreboard. The Giants over Detroit by 20. Green Bay, that's 2 in a row over Minnesota. That's a big win. Indianapolis over Tampa Bay by 4. Fourth quarter, San Francisco by 3. Seattle by 5. New Orleans by 5 over Seattle, and Denver in front of Atlanta. Malone's pass is there. And the receiver is Anthony Miller. Now, they were looking on that screen pass that they had set up earlier and then came back.
Got a penalty downfield, and we'll have to see what it is. And it's holding against the defense. But what a great job by Malone of looking the defense off. Looking all the way to his right. You'll get a chance to see it from the end zone. Watch him as he drops back. He'll look off to his right. Look, and back. Bingo. Ball is in the air.
Holding, number 55.
Really a nice play. Read the zone, knew where the man was, and got the ball to his target receiver. Here he is on this play. Anthony Miller, and he's beaten Judson into that gap. Judson trying to bump him and stop him short, and Jarvis Williams couldn't get there to help on the outside.
Penalty call on Green refused. Play goes to the 44, 24-yard line. 24 yards on the play, first down. Curtis Adams. Next week, a doubleheader on NBC. The Raiders at New Orleans, New England at Buffalo, Houston at Cincinnati, Denver at Pittsburgh, first half of the doubleheader. Second half, Seattle at the Rams, Cleveland at Phoenix, Indianapolis at San Diego, and the big one, the Jets at Miami. And Dick and Merlin will be here, as Dick has had the weekend off.
Give him a partner a little rest.
Rest him up for that.
Rest him up.
Well, when you get older, you got to have those things. This pass is complete to Lionel James. 47-yard line of Miami.
That's the kind of role that James has filled over the last couple of years, and I mentioned how dangerous he is when you can spot him into the game on third down, but I still feel that he is totally miscast when you try and use him as a pounding back. Al Saunders hoping right now that his Charges can get it together. Talking to Wayne Sevier, special teams coach on the sideline. Shula, I'm sure, pleased with the offensive productivity on the day.
I would think so.
But not with his young defense.
Third down and 1. Just over 7 minutes left of the ball game.
First down.
First down.
Yeah. Ironic in a way, Charlie, that the Dolphins and also San Diego have not been able to get a total performance, offense and defense and special teams all in the same game. And, of course, if you want to win championships, that's what you have to do. Maybe this Miami defense and Tom Olivadatti's crew had been reading a little bit too much in the press about how good a defense they've become so quickly.
6.5 minutes to go. Miami leading by 3, 31-28. Play action. Great protection. Intercepted at the 27-yard line. Jarvis Williams with 2 interceptions last week against the Raiders has the first interception of this ball game. "27 yards on the return."
Number 26, Jarvis Williams. You just saw a glimpse of him at the bottom of your screen. He's the center fielder. He's dropping back. I don't think Malone sees him, and Jarvis just steps in front of the receiver. There were 4 defenders around that receiver. That's a pass you'd never throw. And Mark Malone coughing that one up. Big play, big turnover. Jarvis, maybe you heard me. Maybe you said, hey, that Merlin Olsen doesn't know what he's talking about. We're going to make a big play for the defense here.
And mark it a 21-yard return to the Miami 48.
What in the world was that?
Well, it started with Davenport, and it ended up with Lee Williams.
What in the world is Davenport doing? Davenport looked like he'd made a mistake. It looks like he goes up to the line and stops. Was that a flea flicker of some kind? What is he doing? Well, I guess he just saw there was no hole. He decided he wasn't going in there. Maybe saw Lee Williams in there. I don't blame him for turning around a little bit. Williams is an awesome sight.
2nd and 12.
Leslie O'Neal in there again. He's gotten quite a few plays today. Look at those numbers. Marino over 300 yards again today. That's his 27th game of 300 more yards. Ooh.
Good defensive play by Elvis Patterson.
Patterson, we mentioned, injured. Did not expect to be doing a lot of playing at that corner position. He's got a sternum and a shoulder injury both pressed into service because of the way they were attacking Roy Bennett earlier in this ball game. Made a big play there.
And it's 3rd down and 12. 5:15 time remaining in the ball game. Miami by 3, 31-28.
We talked about how difficult these 3rd and longs are to pick up. This is an area in which Marino traditionally has done a great job. Not so in the early part of this year. Let's see if he backfires on us here.
He's throwing back a screen, and I'm not really sure that was the play to do. Once he got over there and ran out of room, maybe she just thrown it away down the right side. But anyway, they got away with it. It's 4th and 12.
San Diego not fooled at all. Had a bunch of folks sitting over there, and Marino lucky he got it over everybody's head because there were as many blue shirts over there looking for that football as there were white shirts.
So Reggie Roby to kick to Lionel James with 5 minutes and 7 seconds left in the ball game, and the margin still 3. Miami on top.
We saw Roby kick a bad one earlier. You got to wonder if maybe having to go and kick those kickoffs and worry about kicking field goals may have bothered his concentration. Not on that one.
Ooh. And he goes into the end zone for a 54-yard kick, and will bring it out to the 20-yard line.
There were only 4 quarterbacks, Charlie, going into this week's games who had thrown every pass for their teams. That means every pass that was thrown by the team in the first 6 games of the season thrown by that quarterback. Here they are. Esiason, Kelly, Hebert, and John Elway. Well, we now know that Elway, with that injury, is questionable or will be questioned as to whether he'll be able to stay in there. But those are the only 4 around the league who have thrown every pass that their team has thrown so far in the season. Pretty small fraternity.
And it's getting smaller by the Sunday. The 26-yard line.
Rod Bernstein. He's the H-back. He's dangerous across that middle. Got all kinds of speed. Charlie, we talk about the injuries to quarterbacks. I don't think we're ever going to see a tougher year, though, than the Bears had back in '84. They used 6 quarterbacks in that year. They used McMahon, Bob Avellini, Rusty Leash, Steve Fuller, Greg Landry, and 1 other quarterback, Walter Payton. Payton even played quarterback in '84.
Second and 4. Complete to the 25. They'll lose a yard.
Rick Graff, number 99, made Arthur Cox, big number 88 out there, but Graff not about to be fooled. There's Cox. We mentioned 280. Well, we've talked about Miami's defense playing 5 good games. They started horribly in this game. Right now, they're coming on here in the second half when the going is tough. Intercepted. That's the second interception of the day for Jarvis Williams. No, they're going to say that it was on the ground. They're going to say it was on the ground, and it would appear that the pressure, this late pressure, and it is late pressure, getting to Malone. That ball bouncing out of the hands of the receiver. Here's a chance to look at it for yourselves. Ball thrown right there. Ball bouncing out of the arms of Quinn Early. And let's see what happens to it.
Now,
on the ground. Good call. Good call. That ball trapped on the ground. The officials looking at it upstairs, but I'm sure they'll rule that as not an interception. And Malone victimized by that anyway. Let's show it again. Maybe we can show it all the way from the beginning, because there was a grab on Quinn Early that caused him to lose his footing a little bit. And I think that that could have drawn a flag. As he comes across, watch number 87, lower part of your screen. He's going to be grabbed by Green right there. An illegal grab that was not caught by the officials, but they ruled correctly on the fact that it was not an interception.
Moshinko to kick. He gets a good one off.
Boy,
and
that's
Jarvis
a hammer.
Williams.
Whoa, did he kick that or what?
That's Gary Schwades, who is back with Williams on the return.
And
59 yards in the kick, but a 38-yard counterpunch.
Charlie, when you drive that ball and you don't get the hang time, you give the offense a chance to bring it back. And here it is. You don't see a single cover man in sight. That ball hit without hang time. I'll tell you, Schwades gets the outside here, gets a couple of good blocks, really got screens as much as anything else. 86, Jamie Holland finally there to drag him down.
Miami a first down at the San Diego 48-yard line. 3:06 left in the ball game. Dolphins lead it 31-28. Knocked away. Lee Williams.
Just glancing at that scoreboard. Score at the end of the first half. Miami had 10. Got 21 since that time. They had 16 second half points in their first 6 games of the season. This has been a day of statistics bashing again.
First quarter, it was 7-7. Halftime, San Diego by 11, 21-10. Third quarter, San Diego 28-17. Now in the fourth, with 3:02 left, it's Miami 31, San Diego 28. Hampton, 8 yards to the 40. Gil Bird with the tackle.
And time now, if you're a San Diego Charger fan or if you're over on that sideline or up here with their coaches, Ron Lynn, I'm sure, sending in a mix of defenses that he hopes will create a turnover. That's what they need now. They need to get themselves back into control of that football. 2:34, we're getting down toward the clicker. There you see the scoring by quarters. And in this second half, there are the San Diego coaches. Left-hand side of your screen, Ron Lynn. Next to the far right, Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator.
3rd and 2. First down, Mark Clayton.
Charlie, you said it earlier, in dealing with and talking with the Miami players, they did not seem to be concerned that their offense was not clicking. Everyone talked about the fact that we're going to get it going. Clayton very specifically said, hey, we're the same people, we're going to get it going. Well, they have done it today. Clicking down to that 2-minute warning. No, it stopped out of bounds, so they will get to the 2-minute warning after this play.
San Diego 32-yard line, first down. Stratford with a little gliding move inside, then back outside. Lee Williams with a tackle. That'll take us to the 2-minute mark. The score, Miami 31, San Diego 28. We'll be back in a moment. 2 minutes left to go in the ball game. Miami with the ball at the San Diego 29-yard line. It is 2nd down and 7. This is Charlie Jones along with Merlin Olsen. Joe Robbie Stadium in a ball game that has been an offensive battle. We expected the defenses to dominate. It's not been that way.
Both offensive teams, I think they've kind of reverted to form.
Yes.
Playing against each other, they reminded themselves, hey, these are the great games, the great scoring contests. And that's what they have been between these two teams in the past. Well, they certainly have gotten it together on the board today. 31 points so far by Miami, 28 by San Diego. And San Diego would love to get their hands on the football and try to get another 3 or another 7.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
38-21, Miami by 3. 2nd and 7 at the San Diego 29-yard line.
The one thing you cannot afford at this time, if you're thinking with the Miami offense, is the turnover. You better believe they're going to be calling a very safe series of plays, although they will throw the football. They have that kind of confidence. They're not afraid to put it in the air. They've shown us that.
Miami has turned the ball over 1 time. San Diego has turned it over 3 times.
Yeah.
Stratford.
Troy Stratford with 2 fumbles earlier in the ball game. Stratford getting a chance here to work on his control of that football.
We've got a timeout, and we'll be back in just a moment. Timeouts remaining. The Chargers have 2. The Dolphins have 2. 1:53 left to go in the ballgame.
Critical call here. 3rd and 3 yards to go. If San Diego's defense can shut Miami down, they're going to get the football, or a chance to get the football, with some time on the clock. And of course, Quadravez is injured, as we mentioned. That does play a role here as well.
That takes away the long field goal attempt. They're going to call tackling on Elvis Patterson.
Well, if you're going to have a penalty, you might as well have a good one.
He saved the touchdown because Duper had it.
Patterson right there. Well, his argument is that, hey, who interfered with whom? And you saw right there that Duper using a very physical technique to try and escape the bump at the line of scrimmage. Patterson saying, hey, he interfered with me before I ever interfered with him.
You could legitimately call that offsetting.
Well, Duper said this looks like the World Federation Wrestling Tournament.
Right there, look.
There's the play. Duper trying to swim. That's a swim move. That's a defensive lineman's move to get away from a holder on the line of scrimmage. Patterson, as we mentioned, playing with 2 injuries. A sternum injury, a shoulder injury. Did not expect to play today.
At the 17-yard line.
1st down, critical. Chance to run the clock down.
Hampton.
And Hampton makes a mistake as he gets out of bounds. You don't want to kill that clock.
They're going to keep it going because when he went out of bounds, he was going backwards. They give him the forward motion to the 20-yard line. And the report card on the Chargers, Malone at this point, 23 of 33, 263, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Flutie 2 for 29 and a score. Early 2 for 49 and a touchdown. Held Dolphins to 44 yards rushing. And for the Dolphins, Marino 26 of 45, 329, 1 touchdown. Takeaway conversions, 2 for 14 points. Duper 7 for 118 and a touchdown. And perhaps the move that he made on Patterson is strong as any move as far as the outcome of this ball game. Clock stopped with 1:34 left to go.
Has to be a very exciting day for this man, who has had some tough sledding early.
The Budweiser most valuable player is Dan Marino of the Miami Dolphins, as the offense has returned to Miami, and Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. 2nd down and 13, the ball at the 20-yard line.
You got to try and strip it away if you're the San Diego defense. You're going to see 2 hands on that football from each of those Miami backs.
And San Diego will take their last time out.
Shula, I think, giving Stratford a chance to play late in this game, reminding him how important it is to hang on to that football.
The ball at the 18-yard line. San Diego out of timeouts. When play resumes, it will be 3rd down and 11 with 1:29 remaining. The margin is 3 points. The offense, of course, can control the clock if San Diego has that opportunity. And with the injury to Reveiz, then Miami does not have a long-range field goal kicker. Kicking off has been Reggie Roby.
Charlie, let's talk about the impact of this game long run. It would appear that at least for today, the offense here in Miami waked up.
Yeah.
They got themselves on track. And I'm sure you'll see a very positive carryover out of this game for the offense. Defense not up to their standards of the last 5 weeks, but have come on here in the second half to make some big plays. I think things are looking up for these Dolphins as a playoff contender. The injury to Reveiz, one very nasty note on the day.
You have a selection for the team in the teams in the Super Bowl, which will be here in January.
Charlie, I can only give you one team for sure. I know that Olsen and Enberg are going to be back here with the NBC crew. We'll be covering that. And why do we have a timeout from Miami? I don't know.
Yes, San Diego had a timeout. The Miami offense came out, and so they took Miami then. A team cannot take back-to-back timeouts, but alternating teams, of course, can. In the fourth quarter, San Francisco 24, Rams 21, fourth period. New Orleans leading Seattle by 8, and Denver now defeating Atlanta. That is a final. And here, of course, it's Miami 31 and San Diego 28.
Let's look at what this will do for San Diego Chargers. This would certainly put them, well, unless somebody really comes back to them out of the race, although nobody wants to run away with that AFC West title. Seattle was losing. Is that a final yet, Charlie?
Not yet, but Seattle looks to be 4-3 and Denver 4-3. Raiders 3-4.
Gone to 3-4, kind of bringing everything together. San Diego would be 2-5. Well, they're only a couple of games off the pace, so even though they have lost some heartbreaking games the last 3 weeks, 3 games that they really felt that they had a chance to win, they're not all the way out of it yet.
And not all the way out of this game. 3rd down and 11. And that's an interesting call. I think that Miami has decided just to run the clock down. O'Neal makes the tackle, and they're just running the clock, and they're going to sit there for 45 seconds. They can take full 45 seconds off of that clock.
There will be little time left when they finally snap the football.
Doubleheader, Raiders at New Orleans. This, of course, next week on NBC. New England at Buffalo, Houston at Cincinnati, Denver at Pittsburgh, Seattle at the Rams, Cleveland at Phoenix, Jets at Miami, Indianapolis at San Diego. In the earlier ball games, New England defeated Cincinnati 27-21. We'll get to the rest of those scores for you in a moment. As running with the ball, with a flag down, is Lorenzo Hampton. Houston defeated Pittsburgh 34-14. Chicago with Dallas 17-7. Cleveland down Philadelphia 19-3. Washington over Phoenix 33-17. Raiders defeated Kansas City 27-17. Giants over Detroit 30-10. Green Bay over Minnesota. That's 2 in a row. 34-14. And it was Indianapolis 35, Tampa Bay 31.
Does this qualify as last gasp opportunity, Charlie?
30 is decline. First down.
Gasps do not get any laster.
34 seconds on the clock.
No timeout.
No timeouts. 83 yards.
Now a couple of completions and a long field goal. You could make overtime. There's a completion to the 35, 27 and counting. You've got to hurry up. One more completion on the sideline, and you've got a long field goal attempt ready.
21 seconds. 20 seconds. That's a good job of getting up to the ball.
Heading for the sideline. You've got to get out of bounds. And Arthur Cox does. 8 seconds.
I think I might want to get it into the hands of someone who runs a little bit faster when they're going to the sideline, but I think they expected a lot of room up inside, and they got it. There's not enough time, I'm afraid, Charlie, for them to get it into field goal position.
No, you've got to go for the touchdown. This is the Hail Mary. A final, San Francisco 24, Rams 21.
I like what San Diego has done today. They sure have not quit.
Three-man rush. 1 second left still on the clock.
If that ball had been completed, it would have been completed to about the 37-yard line.
And you would have had the field goal opportunity.
From about a 55-yard field goal. I don't know that Vince Abbott has a 55-yard leg, Charlie. His longest of the year is what, 48?
His longest this year is 48.
Well, they tell me he has a much longer field goal, but I don't know that. No time now. That's a mute question. They're hoping for the penalty here.
And the tip, it's in the air, and it is intercepted. William Judson, yes, comes up with the interception. Miami comes up with the victory. So for the Dolphins, their record is now 4-3. San Diego's record is 2. We're back at Joe Robbie Stadium. And I think in a way you can say that this is, Merlin, has been a game of two quarterbacks. Malone for San Diego with his first starting assignment for the Chargers, and Marino